We are guys at Pro Bike Florence. I'm Alex and you are?
Leonardo.
Nice to meet you. Good, he's cool. He's our mechanic today because today we're going to be doing a little bit of how-to with the brakes on this electric mountain bike. We're going to show you how to maintain them, basically, clean them and bleed them. This bike is a little bit...
Yeah, a lot used. Yeah.
Well, we tried to push it in and it
doesn't spin at all.
It makes a horrible noise. For those who want to know, these are SRAM Code R brakes, which are pretty common across most electric mountain bikes. What is the first thing we've got to do, Leonardo?
Well, the first thing is to remove the wheels from the bike, of course, because we want to have the brakes free.
And the pads, there's not much left on them, is there?
If you can see there, here, you don't have any space from the base of the pads to the pads. So first thing we want to do is to push out the old pads so we have space, just not to work on the pistons, because if you work on the pistons you risk to ruin them. So just go with a tool like this, or even if you have like a flat screw, just go with that because they are old pads, and you just push it slowly in.
Now it's worth noting, I use a motorbike style setup, so the front brake for me is always on the right. We need to take the pads out before we do anything. So here we've got
2.5.
You've got a clip and a 2.5 mil
Allen key. So you just take it off and remove the pads.
Right, that's pretty simple, isn't it?
This was pretty used.
Yeah.
As you can see, pads. They will fit on your Code brakes.
It's worth knowing there's a lot of aftermarket pads and they're fine. You can use aftermarket pads, you can use all kinds of brake pads. In fact, soon we've got a test coming up with some Galfatech stuff, which would be interesting to see.
Those are organic ones, so they will bite a little bit more. Will not last that long because there is a softer pad, so when you use them, you hit them a lot more.
But wait, I don't brake.
You don't brake. With wet condition, they will work really good. So I recommend those ones. If you are someone that uses a lot of brakes, just make sure to use sintered brake pads so they will last longer on the longer descents.
Also, it's worth remembering we're now moving into winter, autumn, so there's more rain, so there's more conditions we're likely to find where it's wet, so it's worth switching to the organic pads.
Just one thing, make sure when you work, just use some towels to have everything clean. And first thing, before bleeding, we can clean all the pistons. Just take, like, if you see there's some dust, not a lot of dust. So what you do, you take a 4 mil, they will fit perfectly in here. And the pistons, as you can see, they will come out to the limit. So you have all the piston out. You just take the 4 mil out and then you will clean it this one. You want to take some isopropylic alcohol, okay? And then with a towel, you will just move inside and clean all the pistons.
So we're going to use lubrication. Now there must be a specific lubricant.
Yep. So this is the one, is a Navid.grease.
Specifically for SRAM brakes.
Is specifically for SRAM brakes. So it goes all around the piston.
Wow, that's a cool bike.
Yeah, it's useful. Just take one towel and just spray all the grease on the side of the piston. Then you need to put back all the pistons, the 4 Allen key that you used before. Put it inside and just stay flat on the piston. Good. So they are all in.
Now we're going to do a bleed. A bleed is where we remove the air from the system. It's a hydraulic system. These are hydraulic brakes. We also check the tube that makes sure it's in good condition.
Yep.
And everything is okay. You can also look under here, there's a flap, and we'll show to show that it's not bent. Because sometimes we find those are damaged. No?
Yeah, I recommend to go to your local bike shop to do this type of works, because they are a little bit more specific.
Kind of oil that you find on a car, it's either DOT5 or DOT4. With this, we tend to use DOT5. Leonardo's just preparing the tools. So we've got these special syringes, I see here, and a special liquid. Now there is a method to do this. Okay, so we've got special attachment points here, which screw in, so we can lock off the tube and open the tube more easily, but it can create more bubbles in the system.
Some little bubbles, as you can see.
Yeah.
There is some on the inside of the syringe.
Creating negative pressure in this chamber here, and that sucks all the bubbles up to the top, which means that they stay out of the system when we put the liquid back in. So how long do you have to do this little process?
Well, till you don't see any more bubbles on the inside.
And so you have one with slightly less and one with slightly more.
So what we want to do is, first thing, just put the back syringe, that is this one.
That's a specialized SRAM attachment, correct?
Yeah, it's a special SRAM attachment, and you will find it on every SRAM system.
The bleed port is here.
Yep.
And then when we open that, so
you can see, you can open that.
There we go.
And first thing you want to do is take a spacer for the system. So you just stick this one in.
Okay.
It's good to have this one because when you do the bleeding, I will show you, you need also to move a little bit the levers.
Now you're undoing here the bleed port a bit.
Just so you can open it a little bit. You see? Is to
so you've now prepared the syringe.
Yep.
Sucking the oil out, or the air out.
Just move it a little bit farther up. Just put this one in. You just do like this to open the system.
Okay, so a quarter turn to the left and it opens.
Just put some gloves on, and because you want to have your hands clean. And then from the upper side, just unscrew here.
So you're now going to be pushing the oil from here
to the upper side.
To the top.
Because the oil will go with gravity, so when you want to change oil, you go from the upper side to the lower side. And when you want to do the bleeding, that is what we are doing, you want to go from the downside to the upper side because the air goes straight up.
Okay, so here we go. So we screw in the top here in the receiver.
First thing you want to do, because you will have some residue of air on the inside of when you put the syringe, you just want to open this. So just push it a little bit down. As you can see, there are some bubbles that are coming up. Those are the bubbles that were trapped between the syringe and the system.
Okay, so here we go. So that's going in, the oil's going in there, and it's coming up there.
So what you want to do when you push the oil up, just move a little bit the lever so you can move all the air that are trapped.
Quite a lot of oil there.
Yeah, just do a full one. This liquid is a little bit over, as you can see, is
black.
It's black. So what we want to do, just take a little towel, a little paper, unscrew this and throw away all this oil. You will find on this type of brakes that when you need to do a bleed, is that because you start to feel some sponginess on the lever.
So now we've inserted here the loading syringe, so we're about to now load with clean oil back into the system.
What we want to do is just to push a little bit, so if there is some air trapped on the inside, we can see that, but there is nothing left.
Okay, so now we're going in the opposite direction.
Yep.
So as he's pushing here, he's also giving a few hits to the lever.
As you can see, there is some dirt, but here you can see that everything is clean.
Okay,
and
no
this is
air
clean.
bubbles.
Yep.
So now we detach this lever, it just twists and pulls out. So what's happened is we have now essentially sucked the oil from the bottom of the system and from the top of the system to remove all of the air, and we then dumped the waste oil. Again, prepping the syringes every time.
Just plug that in.
So now we've reattached.
Just move. You can see there is some bubbles coming up. And we close from the downside. And what we're gonna do, that is the most important thing to do with this, just do the vacuum. As you can see, there are so many bubbles coming up.
So we've put a vacuum here on this syringe. And all those bubbles are coming out of the oil
Yeah.
up the system.
And what you want to do here is to repeat this movement like 10 times, 10 to 15.
Okay.
It depends on how many bubbles they were coming up. Continue here till we can see no more bubbles coming up. Just make sure to move a little bit the lever so you have some movement on the inside, and the bubbles that are trapped on the plastic inside, they will come up.
Because there's a master cylinder in here, and any air trapped around it needs to be removed. So this is the way to do it. Oh, okay, you tap it. Release any
What we
fine
want to do
oils.
also is just tap the cable. Don't do it with the Shimano ones. Also don't use any type of dot oil on that one or either side. So don't put mineral oil on this one, or either put dot oil on the Shimano, because you will ruin all the system.
It's definitely, we'll come back to the Shimano system another time. It's also another popular braking system. Okay, it looks like most of the bubbles are out now.
Yeah, there are some small ones that are still remaining.
Patience is important.
Yeah, you need to have a lot of patience.
Notice also, we've also placed the brake at a level here,
Flat.
so we can make sure that the air rises to the top. We're moving to the phase where we close the system down and
So you
finish.
just push the oil on the system.
okay. So you create pressure, correct?
Yeah, you just create a little bit more pressure, so if there is something trapped, you just move it. Then leave it like this. Take a little paper to not get everything dirty. Just unscrew it. And then,
So there is some back pressure in the system that pushes the oil out a bit, I see, before we add our screw.
so just screw it in and we're good.
Right, it's worth noting on these screws that go in, sometimes there's a little rubber seal, so you have to make sure that's in good condition.
Yeah.
Spares are available from SRAM, correct?
You can find every little spare of the brakes from SRAM or any other company.
We just
What
have
we
to
want to
clean it
do
off.
now is clean everything. So, alcohol. This is from Andreani's, good also for suspension. Make sure to close the port when you do this.
Okay, so
So it's tight.
it was interesting, when you closed the port there on the caliper, it was actually only a small movement. It wasn't
Yeah.
open very much.
Yeah. What we want to do now is just to clean the new pads. So, take some paper, put new pads on, just put on the braking pads.
So we're placing on the surface a little
Yeah.
bit of water.
And what you want to do now is just to rub them.
Ah, so simple.
Yep. You just take the paper to clean a little bit, and now they are ready. So just put the new pads in, take the 2.5 mil and screw this one in. So what we want to do now is just to put the wheel back in. Sorry for the wheel, because
It's a bit dirty.
yeah,
That's
I just
my
tried
fault.
to clean a little bit the bike, but it was too much.
This is like glue. This mud is like glue. It came off the field behind my house. As you're putting the wheel in, important, remember, don't touch the brakes, because the pistons can come out and cause chaos and not be able to put the disc in.
Yeah.
Now we're going to align the pads with the disc. If you look with your eye, you can't see on the camera, but there's a very slight gap between each pad and the disc. Okay, so our discs are basically now aligned. You have to fiddle with it a little bit to get it right, but yeah, it's working. The disc is not bent, and it now...
Spins freely. As you can see, the brake is
Let me
working.
see how this lever feels. Ooh.
It's different.
We've done it. It's
Yep.
now ready to roll. Leonardo's just told me, what do I have to do? I have to now ride the bike and recenter the pads. So we're going to have to check that the pads are now bedded in when we ride, a couple of rides, and then we basically put the bike back in the stand. I've got a mobile stand at home, so I can do this at home and just double check that those pads are in the right position. How long should this procedure take somebody? About an hour and a half?
Well, it depends on how good your skills are, but it will take like from half an hour to an hour. It depends on how much deep you want to go.
Okay.
This system was not in a good shape at all.
So it was the
so
worst.
we wanted to, we wanted to do everything on it. But if you need to do like a quick service, will take like 20 minutes, not at all.
When you've got hydraulic brakes, make sure they're in good condition.
Yeah.
Especially if you haven't used your bike for a long time, you've left it in the garage untouched. Always good to have a quick check to make sure those brakes work. If not, get along to your local bike shop if you feel like it's outside of your abilities, but we've basically seen a perfect method how to do it. So thanks a lot, Leonardo.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the next Tech Corner.
Yeah, hope so.
Okay, see you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and give Pro Bike a follow as well. I put their link in the description. Thanks a lot, guys, and see you on the next Tech Corner.